Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Solo Leveling, Season 1, Episode 8. This is frustrating. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So the episode begins with Jin-woo pondering how he's going to be able to gain strength so he can get the elixir of life, which is said to cure all diseases, and he believes will be able to cure his hospital-bound mother. And so he realizes that just completing the daily quests is not going to work because he only gets 3 stat points with each one. However, when he levels up, all of his stats go up by 1, giving him 5 points total. And so he ultimately decides to accept Jinho's offer, but for the gates that they need, they're going to need at least 8 people. So Jinwoo tells Jinho to hire people who will not participate in the dungeons, but will go there to make up the quota. And Jinho gets started on that. Jinho goes into his dad's limo, and his dad tells him about why he's starting a guild, how the resources are, some go to the Hunters Guild, which is like a state-run organization, but the majority of the wealth and the resources are all in the hands of the guilds, and therefore, as a company that utilizes those resources, it makes more financial sense for them to have their own guild where they can then have hunters in their employ go in, gather the resources that they can use so that they then don't have to pay the exorbitant prices to the other guilds to get those resources which their business requires, so they can basically be the ones supplying for their own demand, which does make a lot of sense. We then see Jinho's older brother trying to recruit Chahae-in, but he fails. Meanwhile, some of the S-classes have gotten together and are talking about the Jeju Island situation and basically foreshadowing future arcs where they go to Jeju Island. We then also get all of these survivors from the D-rank double dungeon getting text messages inviting them to an emergency D-rank dungeon quest, including Jinho, Jinwoo, because he still has to wait for Jinho to get the raid team together. He then decides to go and do this D-rank dungeon, and when they get there, they find out that the Hunter Association is also sending prisoners in as a way to reduce those prisoners' sentences, and they will be supervised by a B-rank hunter who is said to be strong enough to keep them under control, and also they are assured that they wouldn't have the motivation to do anything bad because they're reducing their sentences by entering the dungeon, and the final shot of the episode is them walking into the dungeon. So now that we've been reminded about what happened in the episode, we'll now rank the episode, as always, first on the mostly objective ranking list using set values, followed by the personal ranking list, which uses entertainment value in my opinion. So, mostly objective ranking, we of course have the multi-episode supporting character introduction in the 3 prisoners. They are just given numbers, not names though, so they're just grouped and lumped together. We then have a multi-season supporting character introduction, which is Young-han, who is Jinho's father. And then we have our multi-season supporting character development, which is Jinwoo accepting the 19 raid offer from Jinho, who is going to start his own guild. And then we have our negative messaging or behavior, which of course is that having prisoners work with regular hunters in a place that we already know has a high crime rate because of the fact that it cannot be fully monitored. They can't put electronic devices in it. Crimes that happen in the dungeon stay in the dungeon, and most people get away with them. So it just heightens the risk to an absurd degree to have prisoners unleashed in there, especially prisoners that are stronger than the hunters going in. For example, Jinwoo is still considered to be E rank, even though we know he isn't, and all of the prisoners are all C ranks, which is even above the D rank hunters that are going in there as well. And this is a power imbalance and not safe at all, not smart at all. And obviously, I do think that the Hunter Association has not made a wise choice here, especially when we meet the prisoners, and their attitudes are very much that they are not interested in rehabilitation at all. And we all know that rehabilitation only works if the person wants to be rehabilitated. If you don't want to be rehabilitated, you could have all the resources in the world given to you, you're not going to rehabilitate. So yeah, we know something bad is going to happen because the prisoners are making no secret of the fact that they have no interest in abiding by society's norms and ethics and morals and laws, etc., etc. Essentially, they have no interest in being good people. And so foreshadowing is definitely at work here, but that is minus 2 points. So we have 8 positive points, 2 negative points. That leaves us with a 6 out of 10 objective episode. And that brings our list to, and first, I'm used to it. If I had one more chance, it's like a game. A pretty good deal. The real hunt begins. Let's see how far I can go. I've got to get stronger. This episode came in 8th. This is frustrating, followed by how to get stronger. Now, my personal ranking for this episode, I did decide to give it ultimately a 5. It's foreshadowing quite a bit. It's setting things up for the future. And then it's reuniting the Devil Dungeon people while also setting them up. It's giving a lot of exposition and information to us from both Jinho's father and then also the S-Class hunters that are discussing the foreshadowing for the Jeju Island raid. However, there are no battle scenes. There isn't really any action of any kind. It is more set up and informational in the episode, which is why the entertainment value isn't very high. So I thought 5 was reasonable as much as it's not necessarily entertaining to receive. If it's your first time watching the episode, the information that is relayed within this episode is valuable information you'd want to know. So it is, in that sense, something that I think is worth points. But again, not entertaining. We didn't get any action. We didn't really get any fully forward plot. It was basically the end of the episode where we started to get kind of that reunion, but they just entered the dungeon at the end of the episode. They haven't had any fights in it or anything like that yet. So 5 is what I gave it, and that brings the personal ranking to in first. The real hunt begins. Let's see how far I can go. A pretty good deal. I've got to get stronger. It's like a game. This episode came in 6th place. This is frustrating, followed by I'm used to it. If I had one more chance, and then in last place is how to get stronger. Bringing us now to the series ranking so far. Season 1 on the Mostly Objective currently has a score of 75 out of 130, and the personal ranking side, Season 1 has a score of 52 out of 130. But with that, we've now rewatched and ranked Solo Leveling Season 1, Episode 8. This is frustrating for more than one reason. Because, like I said, it was pretty slow and not really full of entertainment value, more of an info dump episode. Anyways, like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.